All right, young scholars, Mr. Margarone here. I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of help writing your resumes and cover letters. So the first thing that's going to appear in your resume is your education. And if you take a look at what we've done with this, um, we have education in capital letters and bold. We have the first thing that needs to appear is you need to tell the audience where you went to school. If it was high school, if it was college, if some of you guys went to another high school and transferred, you need to have two high schools on your resume. So we have education capitalized, we have Egg Harbor Township capitalized, and then on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see that you have your anticipated graduation of June of 2024. Beneath that, we have the location of the high school, Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. Then we have the GPA, followed by your coursework. And you can put anything in there. You can have your next year's coursework or this year's coursework. My recommendation is always start from the most impressive classes and work your way down to the least impressive. So, for example, as you get older, you're going to be taking AP classes. You'll list AP coursework, then honors, then advanced, and then CP. So by your senior year, if you take, AP government, AP psychology, you take, honors Spanish, honors algebra 2, but then you take a CP elective, that's the order that you would put it in. So that right there gives your audience a very nice view, a quick snapshot of your education. Again, an employer and a college is going to have a much more detailed description of your education in your official transcript. The next part of your resume will be your leadership and community service or your clubs and activities. This is a pretty impressive part of your resume. This is where you really have to talk yourself up. So just notice a couple things that this person did. Number one, they capitalized leadership and community service. Again, that makes a little bit of a difference and differentiation from some of the other text. So you've got leadership and community service up at the top. Then up at the top, also in bold, but a little bit smaller, we have the most important club that they're a member of, and that's Future Business Leader of America, or FBLA. Across from it, they began in 2019, and they are currently in this club. Now, a lot of you guys are probably struggling with what to do with your resume because you may not have a lot that you've done. So one thing I would recommend, add the location of the venue, okay? In each one of the activities, this person has indicated where the activity took place. It's not a deal breaker, but it does kind of make, it's a nice little touch to the professionalness of the resume. My rule of thumb is that every activity that you list, every sport that you list, you should have at least 3 things that you did in that club, sport, or activity. So this person in FBLA, they placed 5th in the South Jersey in testing of introductory to business. They attended the FBLA State Leadership Conference, and they completed a second level of introduction to their business exam. All right, not bad. Okay, this is entry level FBLA work. Not bad, but it tells me what you've done in FBLA thus far. This person was also on the mock trial team. So again, they have mock trial capitalized. Where did that activity take place? Well, that was in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. All right, and they were a member from 2019 to the present. And you can see they did 4 things. First, they were a member of the 2020 Atlantic County Mock Trial Championship team. That's impressive. Not many kids in South Jersey can say that. This person was a prosecution witness in the case of the state versus Charlie Quinn. Okay, again, rather than just saying was a witness, they've expanded on it. They've told the audience what type of witness they were and in what type of case. And again, someone looking at the resume can say, oh, well, tell me a little bit about the state versus Charlie Quinn. What was that case about? And that gives you the opportunity to expand on your resume. And likewise, if you look up at the top with the FBLA, someone looking at your resume, they say, oh, well, what was this introduction to business test? What did that entail? Or, what did you do at this FBLA State Leadership Conference? Or how did the second level of the intro to business exam differ from the first? You want your employer, with more questions to ask you during a job interview. So going back down to mock trial, this person developed and executed strategies for the prosecution, all right, and they also served as a juror during the trials. So right there, those are 4 things that this person did while a member of the mock trial team. Additionally, this person attended a leadership conference that the high school held in the fall. So again, we have Changemaker Day Leadership Conference. Okay, and this was in October of 2019. The location was Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey. First, they were nominated to attend a leadership conference. And again, that may ask your employer, well, who nominated you? Well, you were nominated by a teacher or an administrator. And that tells the audience that, hey, if a teacher or an administrator can nominate this person or trust this person to be a leader, maybe I can take a risk and hire them. They practice public speaking and communication skills, always vital to a good employee. And they developed and implemented team building strategies. Again, everyone wants to know that you can work successfully on a team and be a part of a team. So these are 3 really essential elements that make up a good attendee at a conference. So again, not saying you have to follow this format, but this, is very clear and concise and shows a employer and will show me, what you've been doing and what you've been a part of. The next part of your resume will include sports or other non-club activities that you've done, and will also include your skills and awards. So just a couple things with this person's resume that I captured. Yes, they're a member of the Egg Harbor Township girls softball team, but I wanted to highlight, this is their club activity that they've done. So again, notice they've capitalized and bolded the organization that they were a player with, so that this is EHT Recreational Softball. They were a member from 2011 to the present. Where did that activity take place? Well, it took place in Egg Harbor Township, New Jersey, and they highlighted some of the big things that happened during their career thus far. So, most importantly, this person is a 4-time league champion in the years 2013, 2014, 2015, 2019. So that is the biggest accomplishment of this person playing in this league. All right, that tells me something. The next bullet point, that tells me they are a starting third base person. All right, not bad, so I know what their specialty position is. Next, home run holder. Hit 12 home runs during the 2019 season. All right, even if that record was broken, in 2020, that's impressive. That's something that stands out. That's something that no other player during that season can say. Lesser details include played shortstop, second base, left center field, and right field. So again, this tells your employer that, hey, they're versatile in the outfield. They can play third base and shortstop, and apparently they can also hit. And then finally, we have developed and led winter weight room routines. What does that mean? So you guys that have ever done any sort of off-season workout or training session, you may want to include that in there, that you participated in these practices or routines, but you want to try and use active verbs in there to suggest that you were a leader. You don't need to embellish or lie, but you want to talk yourself up. And that's something, again, that employers and colleges are looking for. They're looking for people that take the lead on these things. The final part of your resume will be skills and then awards. If you are someone who's lacking award nominations, and again, I understand many of you guys are writing this as a freshman, you may have only received, a couple awards in sports, or maybe you're going to receive a Varsity Scholar Award, but you haven't yet, so you really only have like 1 or 2 awards to put in that column. If you don't want to embarrass yourself creating a separate category for awards, you can combine that with your skills and awards category. Again, and that means you can lump them all together and look that much more impressive. So this person, again, they have put that they are a 2020 Varsity Scholar. That's something that many of you will be getting in the next couple weeks. It's based off of a GPA and your activity participation in schools. This next person is proficient in English and Spanish, and they've identified that they're conversational in Spanish. Notice the active verb that they use. They are proficient in Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets. And again, keep thinking, any time that you have worked on a computer or a program, maybe it's coding or a STEM activity, you want to say, like, you're proficient in this. You know how to work it quite nicely. Again, that gives you an edge over someone who may not know how to use Google or Microsoft. This person has identified that they work well under pressure and can solve problems. They are a confident public speaker, and they are strong in teamwork. Now, those last 3 bullet points, they're all well and good. What you're going to need to do in your cover letter and later in a job interview is you're going to need to identify examples of how you are a problem solver and can work well under pressure. You are going to have to identify a time that you were a confident public speaker, and you're going to have to identify times that you've showed good, strong teamwork. Again, those 3 things are great to put on a resume, but if an employer asks about them, and most likely they'll say, oh, well, can you give me a time that you managed a team under crisis? Or can you give me a time that you needed to persuade people using your exceptional public speaking skills? And if you can't really think of a time or an example, a specific example, your employer will realize, or the person interviewing will realize that that is something that was made up to make yourself look better, and ultimately you may not get the job. So if you're not a confident public speaker, if you're just a decent public speaker, don't put that you're an excellent public speaker. If you're not really the ambitious person to take the lead on a team project, don't put that on there. Think back to your mobile projects. If you were someone that was taking the lead and saying, okay, I'm going to organize this and get it done, sure. But if you're someone that was in conflict with your team members, I wouldn't put that on there. So overall, that's kind of the gist of how you construct and craft your resume. Like I said, you don't have to follow this format exactly, but this is a pretty standard, decent format. And hopefully it's something fluid that you'll be able to use throughout the next 3 to 4 years as you begin to build on your resume and improve upon it between now and the time you apply for colleges.